In this unit, we will be talking about resumes and how to write an effective resume. In this video, we will start by defining the resume. Hello! In this unit, we will be talking about resumes and how to write an effective resume. In this video, we will start by defining the resume and talk about 3 reasons why job seekers need a resume. In later videos, we will take you through each part of the resume and how to write a clear and organized resume. At the end of this unit, you will write your own resume to describe your work experience, education, and skills. Let's get started with a definition. What is a resume? A resume is a written document of work experience, education, and skills. Resumes are usually only 1 or 2 pages long and give a short but detailed description of your past job duties and experiences. Employers often need to read many resumes, so they look for keywords or phrases to decide if they should interview the candidate or not. Why do you need a resume? Because there's a lot of competition in the job market. Job seekers need to create a resume that really shows their qualifications to an employer. A great resume is really important for 3 main reasons. First, a great resume will get the attention of the employers and show why you are a good match for the job. Employers will read many resumes from many different applicants, so you need to make sure that your resume clearly stands out to get the attention of the employer. Remember that your qualifications should match the job advertisement. If the company is looking for someone with 5 years of sales experience, you should have 5 years or more of sales experience, and say that clearly in your resume. The second reason you need a great resume is that it communicates your strongest skills and accomplishments to a future employer. Your resume should highlight the skills that employers often look for, such as technology skills and communication skills. Your resume should also include professional accomplishments or activities. For example, if you wrote a book that was published, you should put that in your resume. The third and most important reason you need a great resume is that it gets you an interview. Your resume is your first chance to get the employer's attention. Job seekers want to leave the reader with a positive first impression or a good feeling. If the employer likes what they read, they will contact you to interview for the job. The interview is your chance to meet the employer in person and give more details about your qualifications. In summary, a resume is an important document that describes your work experience, education, and skills. There are 3 reasons why you need a great resume. to get the employer's attention and show you're a good match, to communicate your skills and accomplishments, and to get an interview. In the next video, we will talk about the parts of a resume.
Hello. In this video, we are going to look at the resume in more detail and break it down into its different parts. We will also discover what key things you need to include in a resume. Let's begin by looking at a sample one-page resume. Some resumes are much longer than one page, but for our purposes, we are going to stick with a one-page version. In this sample, I hope you can see how the writer has used lots of white space, bullet points, and a limited number of fonts, so the resume is much easier to read. Let's look at a resume that doesn't have these things. Which resume would you prefer to read? That's right, the first one. Put yourself in the shoes of a possible employer who might read lots of resumes each day. Which one do you think the employer will prefer reading? So the lesson here is, make your resume easy to read. Don't give a future employer an excuse to ignore your resume or throw it in the trash. So what can you do to prevent this from happening? Well, the first thing you can do is make sure that your resume has each of the following key parts. What are these parts? Well, the first one is your name and contact details. If an employer wants to contact you to ask you to come for an interview, here is where they will find your full name and information about how they can communicate with you, like your email address or telephone number. The next part of your resume is the headline and summary. This section is where you should write the job you are looking for and then include a summary of the skills you have. So, if we look at the sample resume again, you will see that this person includes the job title Project Coordinator and then gives a short summary of her work experience and key skills. The third part of the resume you need to include is work experience. Here, you can list the jobs you have worked at in the past, including your current job, if you have one. Current job means what job you have now. Be sure to list your work experience in reverse chronological order. In other words, list your most recent job first, the one before that next, and so on into the past. If we look at the sample resume, we can see this person listed her job from 2005 to the present first, and then lists her job from 2001 to 2005 after this. The final part of the resume that you need to include is education. Here you should include any high school or college degrees you received and the year you received them. If we look at the sample resume one more time, can you see what education Beth Smith received? She includes her associate's degree from Northeast Wisconsin Technical College in 2001. If you have more than one qualification, list them in reverse chronological order, similar to your work experience. So, you should begin with your most recent degree first, and then the one before that after. So, in conclusion, in this video, we have done a short overview of the different key parts of a resume. In the remainder of this unit, we will look at each of these parts in more detail. Next, we will have a reading on the basic elements of a resume, followed by a check your understanding exercise and a game.
Hello! In this video, we're going to discuss the first part of a resume, your name and contact information. We will talk about what to include and where to put this information in your resume. It probably seems very easy, but there's a specific format or order for this information in a resume. Job seekers should follow the standard format to make a professional impression from the beginning of the resume. To begin, your resume needs to clearly show your full name. This means that you write your given name first, followed by your family name. If you have a middle name, you can write it out completely or just use the first letter. For example, Sally Ann Smith could write her name two ways, Sally Ann Smith or Sally A. Smith. Most people include their first name, middle initial, and family name only. Often, job seekers will make their name a larger size or font than the rest of the words. This helps the employer or the reader to find the name very quickly. It is also common to put the name in the center at the top of the page. Another way to make the name stand out is to write it in bold letters, which are darker than the other letters. The next part is for job seekers to write their contact information, which means their current postal address, email address, and telephone number. The postal address is your official location where an employer can send you information. Your postal address is your house number, street name, city, state or province, country, and postal code or number. For example, here is Sally Smith's postal address, 100 Main Street, Los Angeles, California, 90210, USA. Your email address should be professional and contain your full name or at least a part of your name. For example, Sally Smith's email could look like this, sallysmith@email.com or smith@email.com. It is easier for a possible employer to contact you if your email address is similar to your name. For instance, flowergirl123@email.com does not appear to be professional or make it easy for the employer to remember Sally's name. For telephone number, you should include at least one number for an employer to call you for an interview. Sometimes job seekers provide a mobile number and a home telephone number. Here's an example of Sally's phone numbers. Her home phone number is 610-555-1212. Her mobile phone number is 610-232-5551. Giving more than one number makes it easier for an employer to contact you for an interview. Let's review Sally's name and contact information. If she writes her name in the top center of the page, she can put the rest of the information directly below it to look like this. In summary, we reviewed the first part of your resume, name and contact information. You now know to write your full name and include your postal address, email address, and telephone number. Next, you will watch a video about connecting employers with job seekers in today's economy, and then complete a short listening quiz.